Welcome to the EPG Pathshala. Myself, Dr. Swati Dhruv from the Department of Foods and Nutrition, Faculty of Family and Community Sciences from the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. I am here to present today regarding the nutritional problems and feeding programs. Now, nutrition refers to the availability of energy and nutrients to the body cell in relation to the body requirements. Nutrients are those substances that are required by the body to perform its basic functions. Nutrients must be obtained from the diet, as we all know, and as the body does not synthesize them. Malnutrition refers to deficiencies, excesses or imbalances in the intake of all the nutrients, that is energy, protein and or other nutrients. Now, contrary to the common usage, the term malnutrition correctly includes both undernutrition and overnutrition. Undernutrition is the result of food intake that is continuously insufficient to meet the dietary energy requirements, poor absorption and or poor biological use of nutrients that are consumed. This usually results in loss of body weight. On the other hand, overnutrition refers to the chronic condition where intake of food is in excess of the dietary energy requirements, resulting in what we commonly term as overweight or obesity. This topic focuses on undernutrition and is the most neglected form of deficiency seen amongst children. Diseases and malnutrition are closely linked, as disease is the result of malnutrition as well as its contributing cause. Malnutrition is the single biggest contributor to child mortality, as it weakens the immune system and worsens illnesses, leading to devastating consequences such as diminished learning capacity, lower productivity in adulthood and ultimately reduces the quality of life and financially drains the families, communities and countries. Hence, let us have a look at the causes of malnutrition. The causes of malnutrition are multi-sectoral. The UNICEF conceptual framework identifies 3 levels of causes of undernutrition, which are immediate, underlying and basic, as depicted in the figure below. Now, immediate causes, if we have a look at them, are inadequate dietary intake and illnesses are the immediate causes or determinants of malnutrition. The inadequate diet includes both macro and micronutrients, that is total energy, protein, vitamins or minerals. Inadequate dietary intake increases the susceptibility to infection along with the severity of infection. On the other hand, many infectious diseases reduces the dietary intake and nutrient utilization because of loss of appetite and reduced absorption rate. Now, the underlying causes there are number of underlying causes and their interrelationship is complex. The conditions identified are inadequate access to food, that is household food security, inadequate practices for care of children and women, and inadequate access to preventive and basic health services along with the environmental conditions. Now, the causes of malnutrition, if we have a look, is also the household food security, as we know is defined as access to safe nutritious food, adequate in quantity as well as quality, to fulfill all nutritional requirements for every household member of the family at all the times. So, household food depends on the availability, accessibility and the use of resources. Now, adequate caregiving practices such as breastfeeding and complementary feeding practices, food and personal hygiene, diagnosing illnesses, utilization of health services, safe drinking water and sanitation and hygiene practices to create a healthy environment for family members. While causes of inadequate child care include poor health of the mother, lack of knowledge and wrong beliefs and practices of the caregivers, inadequate support from the husband and family, inadequate social support from the community, and mother's lack of control of the available resources. Now, the access to healthcare services is important for good nutrition, as we all know, and prenatal and postnatal care, immunization, oral rehydration therapy for diarrhea management, distribution of micronutrient supplements, deworming, family planning and health education are all important health services which have a great impact on nutrition. Hence, the basic causes as outlined in the social, economic and political context imply that macroeconomic stability, economic growth and its distribution, public expenditure and governance as well as quality of institutions are among the crucial factors. So, let us have a look at the types of undernutrition. Now, undernutrition covers a range of disorders including impaired growth and micronutrient deficiencies. Growth failure is denoted by acute malnutrition, chronic malnutrition and acute and chronic malnutrition, while micronutrient malnutrition focuses on vitamin A, iron and iodine deficiencies. Now, underweight basically is defined as the low weight for age, and the advantage of this index is that it reflects both past, that is chronic, and or present, that is acute undernutrition, although it is unable to distinguish between the two. Now, children with z-scores less than -2 SD are said to be underweight, and those less than -3 SD are said to be severely underweight. Now, stunting is another indicator. Now, stunting is defined as a low height for age for children, and it measures past, that is chronic undernutrition. It cannot measure short term changes in malnutrition. Now, this is associated with chronic insufficient food intake, frequent infections and sustained incorrect feeding practices. Now, for children below 2 years of age, the term is length for age and not height for age, and above 2 years of age the index is referred to as height for age. Now, children with z-scores less than -2 SD are said to be stunted, and those less than -3 SD are said to be severely stunted. Now, wasting is another terminology. So, let us have a look what we mean by wasting. Now, wasting is defined as low weight for height for children, and it measures acute malnutrition. Now, those children with z-scores less than -2 SD are said to be wasted, and those having less than -3 SD are said to be severely wasted or severe acute malnourished. Let us have a look at what we mean by thinness. Now, thinness is defined as low BMI for age, and it is a measure of current or acute malnutrition. Children with z-scores less than -2 SD are said to be thin, and those with less than -3 SD are said to be severely thin. So, after having looked at the various indicators for undernutrition, now let us have a look at various nutrition programs. Now, one of the nutrition programs in case of children is the Integrated Child Development Services, which we commonly call ICDS, and the other one is the midday meal scheme. These are the two most important initiatives for improving the nutrition levels among the children. Now, these programs have universal coverage as they are well recognized and systematically designed. So, let us have a look at ICDS, that is Integrated Child Development Services. Now, ICDS scheme is one of the flagship multidimensional programs of the Government of India, launched in 1975 in 33 community development blocks on a pilot basis. It uses a holistic approach to solve the problem of malnutrition. It is world's largest program for the early childhood care and development. It is based on the rationale that child care cognitive and psychosocial development, and the child's health and nutritional well-being have influence on each other. Now, the objectives of the ICDS program are firstly to reduce malnutrition, morbidity, mortality in children less than 6 years of age. Secondly, to improve the nutrition and health status of these children. To provide conditions necessary for psychological, social and physiological development of children. The other objective is to enhance the abilities of mothers to provide proper care of their children, and also to achieve effective coordination in various departments providing developmental services for children. So, in the ICDS, the beneficiary groups are children below 6 years, pregnant women, lactating mothers, adolescent girls and other women of the reproductive age group, that is in the age group of 15 to 45 years. Now, let us have a look at the services that are offered under the ICDS. So, growth monitoring and supplementary nutrition is one of the services. Another one is immunization, then health checkup, referral services, preschool non-formal education and nutrition health education. So, let us have a look at the supplementary nutrition service of the ICDS. Now, this is one of the most important services of ICDS. All children from 7 months to 6 years as well as adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women are targeted for feeding. They receive supplementary food on all working days in order to bridge the gap between the actual dietary intake and the recommended intake. Now, the type of supplementary food varies from place to place. Cereals and pulses form essential ingredients and are cooked into recipes which can be salty or sweet. And a ready to eat snack containing same basic ingredients along with fortification is also given. Now, the specification for energy and protein for supplementary food supplied to different target beneficiary groups has been determined on the basis of the gaps identified in nutritional surveys and feeding trials that have been done by the National Institute of Nutrition. Now, supplementary nutrition provides 500 kilocalories and 12 to 15 grams of proteins to children from 7 months to 6 years of age. Malnourished children, they get double the ration, and adolescents, pregnant and lactating women, they receive 600 kilocalories and 18 to 20 grams of proteins from meals provided under the ICDS. 7 months to 3 years, they get take-home rations which are known as THR, while 3 to 6 years, adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, they get hot cooked meals. Let us take the example of Gujarat. In Gujarat, earlier under the ICDS, RTE snacks were given, namely the Balbo, which is an energy dense micronutrient fortified extruded blended food. Then Sukhdi, Shiro and Upma were given. They mainly contain wheat, soybean oil, sugar, jaggery and fortified with 8 micronutrients. Along with supplementary feeding, it also includes growth monitoring and prophylaxis program of vitamin A deficiency and iron deficiency. Growth monitoring and nutritional surveillance are two important activities that are undertaken, that is for children are weighed once in a month and are assessed during the WAZ, that is weight for age growth chart. Earlier, IAP classification was used. Today, the WHO growth charts are used, which are different for both boys and girls. This helps to detect growth faltering and assessing the nutritional status of the child. Now, iron folic acid supplementation and vitamin A supplementation are also given to the children to prevent iron deficiency anemia and vitamin A deficiency. IFA supplementation is also given to the pregnant women, lactating mothers and adolescent girls. Vitamin A supplementation is done for 1 to 5 years of children in a biannual round. The other service is immunization. Now, immunization of pregnant women and infants protects children from 6 vaccine prevention diseases that are polio, diphtheria, pertussis, that is whooping cough, tuberculosis, tetanus and measles. These are major preventable causes of child mortality, disability, morbidity and related to malnutrition. Immunization of pregnant women against tetanus reduces the maternal as well as neonatal mortality. Other services that of health checkup. Now, this includes health care of the children less than 6 years of age, ANC, that is antenatal care for pregnant women and postnatal care for nursing mothers. The various health services provided by health and ICDS staff are growth monitoring, immunization, management of malnutrition, treatment of diarrhea, deworming and description of simple medicines such as IFA, vitamin A supplementation and iodized salt and calcium supplementation. The referral services. Now, during health checkup and growth monitoring, sick or malnourished children are referred to the PHC, that is a public health center, or tertiary care. The referral is done according to the IMNCI. The growth monitoring and health checkup in each village is done on Village Health and Nutrition Day, that is the VHND. And in Gujarat, this is commonly known as Mamta Divas. Now, non-formal preschool education, the most joyful playway method. This program is for children in the age group of 3 to 6 years old in the Anganwadi and is directed towards providing and ensuring a natural, joyful and stimulating environment which emphasizes on optimal growth and development. The other service is that of nutrition health education. Now, this is the key element of the work of Anganwadi worker. This form a part of behavior change communication strategy. This has the long term goal of capacity building of women, especially in the age group of 15 to 45 years, to look after the first their own health and nutrition and development of their child. Coming to the second program, that is the midday meal program. In this scheme, free hot cooked nutritious meals are supplied to the government as well as government aided EGS centers and madrasa schools as well. The cooked meals are given to children studying in primary and upper primary standards. Primary children are studying from 1st to 5th and upper primary children are those children studying in the 6th to 8th standards. The program started, that is the midday meal, it started in 1925 in the state of Tamil Nadu. That was the first state to implement it. Then in 1980s, Gujarat was the second state to implement the MDM. Now, realizing the importance of education, both the central and the state governments launched the National Program of Nutritional Support to Primary Education, that is NPNSPE, in August 1995, which covered all students in primary schools run or funded by the government throughout the country to boost the enrollment, retention and attendance rates for children, while also improving the nutrition and health outcomes. Now, currently, the midday meal program is the world's biggest school lunch program and is being implemented all over India for primary and upper primary school students. The program started with the supply of free ration to the school children based on their attendance. Now, the children who had more than 80% attendance in school were given free rations of rice, that is 3 kg in 2 months, and in 2001 the Supreme Court ordered the schools to provide cooked meals to school children. Hence, let us have a look at the objectives of the MDM. So, the objective is to reduce classroom hunger, secondly to increase school attendance, thirdly to increase the attention span of the children and to improve their scholastic performance, to improve their nutritional status and to foster social equality amongst the children. So, let us have a look at the nutritional content of the MDM. MDM programs aim at providing 450 kilocalories and 12 grams of proteins to the primary school children, and for upper primary school children the nutrition norms are 700 kilocalories and 20 grams of proteins. The meal should also provide adequate amount of micronutrients like iron, folic acid, vitamin A, etc. The ration allotted for primary school children is 100 grams of wheat or rice, pulses 30 grams, oil 7.5 grams and vegetables 75 grams. And for upper primary school children, except 150 grams of wheat or rice, all other ingredients remains the same. Iron deficiency anemia is a significant public health problem in India. Now, to combat iron deficiency anemia, Government of India has launched National Iron Plus Initiative program. Now, this initiative brings together the existing program of IFS supplementation for pregnant and lactating women and children in the age group of 6 to 60 months and introduce new age groups. Thus, National Iron Plus Initiative covers the following age groups for supplementation or preventive programming. That is bi-weekly iron supplementation for preschool children in the age group of 6 months to 5 years, weekly supplementation for children from 1st to 5th grade in government and government aided schools, weekly supplementation for out of school children in the age group of 5 to 10 years at Anganwadi centers, weekly supplementation for adolescents, that is in the age group of 10 to 19 years, and pregnant and lactating women, and weekly supplementation for women in the reproductive age group between 15 to 49 years is also given. An anemia supplementation program across the life cycle is proposed over here, in which the beneficiaries will receive IFA irrespective of their hemoglobin status. And the 8 specific interventions are based on World Health Organization recommendations, synthesis of global evidence on IFS supplementation and the recommendations of the national experts. In this chapter, we are going to discuss the IFS supplementation program for children. Now, the IFS supplementation program has a life cycle approach beginning with children from 6 months to 60 months, that is 5 years. Now, 1 ml of IFA syrup containing 20 milligrams of elemental iron and 100 micrograms of folic acid is given bi-weekly to children in the age group of 6 months to 5 years. And for children from 5 to 10 years of age, they receive a tablet of 45 milligram of elemental iron and 400 micrograms of folic acid weekly. In case of adolescents, women of reproductive age, 1 tablet containing 100 milligrams of elemental iron and 500 micrograms of folic acid are given on a weekly basis. Now, during pregnancy and lactation, same dose of IFA is given for a period of 100 days. In pregnancy, it is given during the 2nd trimester, and in lactation period, it is given for the first 3 months. Along with the IFS supplementation, albendazole tablets for deworming are also given. As iron deficiency anemia is caused by hookworm infestation, and in India it is endemic, so it is necessary to have the deworming biannually. Now, albendazole tablets are given biannually for deworming, that is half tablet of albendazole, which contains 400 milligrams, is given for children in the age group of 1 to 2 years of age, and for children above 2 years of age, 1 tablet of albendazole should be given. Prophylaxis with iron should be withheld in case of acute illness, that is fever, acute diarrhea, pneumonia, or if the child is severe acute malnourished, and in known cases of hemoglobinopathy or history of repeated blood transfusions. So, let us have a look at the precautions. Take IFA tablets or syrup along with the meals, or else half an hour gap after meals. And the bottle or the tablets should be preserved in cool and dark place and away from children. Now, let us have a look at calcium and IFA supplements. Calcium and IFA supplements should not be taken together. Therapeutic approach through the life cycle, that is management of anemic on the basis of hemoglobin levels in children 6 months to 10 years. Let us have a look at that. Now, based on the classification of anemia, 3 milligram of iron per kg per day is given for a period of 2 months. Follow-up should be done every 14 days, and if the child is not responding to the treatment, then the child should be referred to the tertiary care unit. Now, children who are severely anemic should be directly referred to the tertiary care unit. Now, the management of anemia on the basis of hemoglobin levels in adolescents from 10 to 19 years. For this, for the management of anemia amongst the adolescents, based on the classification of anemia, 1 tablet of 60 milligram of elemental iron is given for a period of 3 months. Follow-up is done every month, and if there is no improvement in hemoglobin levels after 3 months of treatment, then the adolescent should be referred to the tertiary care for further investigation. Also in this case, severely anemic cases should be directly referred to the tertiary care unit. Hence, summarizing this module, thus we have seen that in this module we saw the causes of malnutrition and also the nutrition programs like ICDS, its services, midday meal programs and the National Iron Plus Initiative program. Thank you.